question. So obviously, everybody and their sister wants to get paid out from Nesara, which is fine. So how much money do you think the average American under 60, 55, or whatever, how much money do you think Nesara is going to pay them?
Well, and I get I get a little sideways with some people who want to. I mean, I have a couple of people that are going, no, Gesara's going to give everyone $100 million. I'm like, let me ask you a question. If you work at a car dealership, or you work at a hamburger stand or whatever, and you suddenly get $100 million, do you think that you're going to work? The answer is no. So if no one goes to work, what do we turn into? We turn into a nation that is completely stopped. The economy is set. And let's say, as a business owner, I own hearing solution centers, okay, in the Tulsa area. And if I know that you have $100 million, what do you think my prices are going to instantly be? I mean, I'm going to triple them, quadruple them. I'll put a factor of 10 or 20 on the price of everything. So what you would have is a price inflation that is not related, and it would kill the QFS and the gold-backed currency. So the reality is, what does every American gonna see? I mean, and we want fair. Wait, it's not fair. I should be paid back. And the answer is, I mean, when has the world ever been fair? I mean, Kevin, when did your mom ever say, life's not fair to you?
Plenty of times.
And I would say, life's not fair. I mean, this is going to be good for you in a lot of ways, but you're not going to walk around with a whole bunch of money. Now, the only thing that I'll kind of give a little bit aside to is, I think your income taxes for the last couple of years might come back to you. Okay. I mean, I don't know what that is, and by the way, that's not going to be fair either. So if you got a person making $100,000 and a person making $50,000 and a person making, $30,000, they're going to have a different amount of income tax. How's that fair? I mean, I cannot make it fair. We're not talking about communism in that way. But what does every American, are they going to feel like? Well, first off, you're going to kill all income taxes. Right there, you're going to see a massive increase in your paycheck. Number two, you're going to see the taxes, sales tax on a whole snot load of things go away. So you're going to see, and we believe too, and this will take a little more time, but property taxes are going to have to go through the states and get washed away. Then you're going to start seeing prices, because we have a gold-backed currency. When we have an increase of the amount of, or the value of money, prices will start to reduce. Okay, so we're going to see, and it's not going to instantly be 1950s pricing. That's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. The answer is, it's going to be a steady increase. It will be what the market will bear, exactly how pricing actually should and does work. So you're going to start seeing that you can be able to do more. So one of your questions that I was reading through some of this stuff is, what's the average American doing? Well, right now, many of them are working 1, 2, 3 jobs, and they're working a lot of hours. I think what's going to happen is they're going to be able to work a normal kind of situation, because, by the way, if you can work, is it a good thing to work? Yeah. Maybe you don't want to work at the hot dog stand. I get it. Okay. Maybe that's something that you really want to upgrade your abilities and capabilities with that. But we do need an economy with people working. And if you listen to Trump, what is he all about? Jobs. So we need jobs. We all need jobs, because it's good for all of us to do with that.
Now, do you think it's possible for us to go back to a 90s economy?
I don't even know what that means. Let me put it to you a slightly different way. Okay, so because this is a very, very common, it's a great question too. Okay, my dad, I grew up with a '66 Bronco. We actually, the dashboard, it was like, the speedometer was doing this. You couldn't even read it. And he finally got sick of it. So he ordered a dashboard on a junkyard somewhere in Oregon, and we got it out, and I were looking at it, and it's like really simple design. Okay. So let's make up a number. Let's say there's 25 technologies in a 66 Bronco. Okay. And there's in a 2022 Bronco, let's say make up a number. There's 125 technologies. Okay. Are they comparable? And if the answer is no, then the price can't be the same as the 66 Bronco. Does that make sense? So if and so to your point and to your answer, the 1970s economy, the 1990s economy, the answer is if there were poor people in that economy at that time frame, how is that economy better? First off, when you kill inflation, you have an economy that we've never experienced before. And so what happens is that my ministry partner gets literally $750 a month for Social Security, and it's ridiculous. Now we think that Social Security and disability that they'll raise up to $3,000 to $5,000 a month, so that's really good. But they're going to be able to spend into the economy and buy things that they need with that. So can we compare it to any economy? Can we utilize those terms? And the answer is no. You can't compare those terms or say they're going to be any of those terms. It's not going to be like anything you've ever experienced with that too. It's going to be good.
Now, when it comes to gold and silver, do you think Nesara is going to raise the price of silver to maybe possibly over $1,000 an ounce? What are your thoughts on that?
It might. Now, I know. I have a friend of mine named Jeremy, and Jeremy Whaley is on my channel, and some people have met him. He's got this thing called TradeMaestro.com, Trade Maestro, and he does a lot of really kind of cool consulting. So he's very good at consulting this stuff. His thing is that he doesn't believe that gold will go over about $2,000. And I'm like, well, I did some research, and on my book here, Revelations of the Red Pill, in 95, this woman actually predicted. Now, when gold was 386 or something like that an ounce at the time when she was writing this article, she predicted if you pull the Fed away from it and you pull the government away from the pricing of gold, she thought it would be about $5,000. It's pretty darn close. Or actually, she said $2,000 to $5,000, and that was almost a prophetic nature with that. You and I both know gold and silver have been massively devalued, but what I believe is that whatever they peg the number at, you're going to love the price. So let's just say you have a bunch of silver, and they peg it at, they'll peg it at a number. I think that our new US note, that's the first one. It'll look very similar to the US dollar, okay? And it will be gold backed. Now, the rainbow currency will come a little bit later on. It's called the US Treasury note, okay? They're all from the Treasury with this, and they're all gold backed. So you can have the physical and you can have the digital. It doesn't matter. They're both gold backed in that way. So if if they make up a number, you want to have $3,000, $4,000 for gold, they're going to peg it, and once the Treasury sets it, and I believe that number is actually in their mind right now, and that they'll release it here in a little while. When they set that number, you're not going to care if you have gold or you don't have gold, because let's say you bought it at $1,500 for gold, and they set it at $3,000 just for making up a number. You're going to probably want to sell most of your gold because your dollar bill in your pocket is gold backed. So you can sell it. No, you don't have to sell it. You can sell it. By the way, gold and silver have been a staples of monetary situations. It was just easier to do checks and all these other processes, the physical money, instead of grabbing gold or being stolen from you in that way. So it's just a form of tender, and so it'll get set at a particular number, and then gold and silver might rise up, but it will probably not really be something they spend a lot of time and effort on the back end of that. But you're going to love the number whenever it comes out.
Now, when it comes to consistency, government is very inconsistent. So I mean, 1 second we're on fiat, 1 second we're using gold and silver. So how long do you think that Nesara is going to last for? Because
Well,
I mean,
that's a
some
good
people
point.
say it's going to last maybe 50 years or something like that, and then we go back to fiat. And I mean, government's very inconsistent. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, let me go into the Constitution, and I think it's in the first article in the 10th section that says you cannot pay your debts without gold and silver, or you have to pay them with gold and silver. That's constitutional. You see, if we're going to work as a constitution, there's actually two basic tenets, and these are inside of Nesara. Number one is you have to pay your debts with gold and silver. I mean, it is the first article. Therefore, you can't have a fiat currency and have a constitutional government. Number two, if we're going to run as a constitutional government, it's our background, it's our back point that we do with our legal system. And so our legal system has to get changed now. And you have to, I mean, the whole bar system is taken out. That's part of Nesara too. I would say once we do a couple things, and by the way, today is the 16th. Trump talked about this in his little speech last night, and he put a 7-minute speech up. He said, when I am inaugurated. Now, I had this lady that argued with me just a minute ago, and she was like, he's never coming back. He's coming back in 2024. And I'm like, if you're thinking in the system, Trump would go through the process of trying to become the Republican, dude, and go against all the other guys. And then they would put Biden up there and Trump, and then just say Trump wins it. And then they would go through primaries and finish the primary. And then they would go on to the general election in 24. And then he would take over in office in 25, right? And those are the processes. He didn't say when I'm elected. He said when I'm inaugurated. Like, why would he go there? He's giving you a comm that it's already happening. And so we're missing the point. Here's the point. He made a comment in there. He said that if you want to be in intelligence, you can't work for 7 years in these and any other outside systems. He's actually setting up some other processes that 2 terms. So a senator, a congressman can only do 2 terms. That's it. There's actually new things that if you are in the Senate, you cannot go and be a lobbyist. So you get to choose whether you're going to be a lobbyist or a senator. I mean, he's setting up the rules, and it's all consistent with the Constitution. So will we go back to a fiat? The answer is probably no. Now I believe that we're in a pre-tribulational time frame. This is I'm very biblical in my nature. I spend a lot of time on end time issues, and this is a pre-setup, and it's because the cabal went off and tried to create the mark without the beast. Okay, they unless you believe Biden's the Antichrist, which he is too stupid to be that anything. He has a diaper on every day. So therefore, if we have, they tried to create the mark with the little jab thing, and they created it, but God said, no, you don't get the mark until you get the beast. So he basically said, I'm going to destroy you because of that. And which is Psalms 91:8. It says, you'll only see with your eyes and witness the punishment of the wicked. That is not an end time verse, because we're going to see it with our eyes. Powerful point. So here's the issue. How long does a gold-backed currency happen? As long as we're a constitutional republic. The only way that you can go to a fiat is to ditch the constitutional republic, which is what they did. And they did that as a corporation. That's the only thing that allowed them to move into a fiat. So that's the key element to help you there.
Now, this question just came into my mind. On social media, they're talking about the Euphrates River drying up. They're talking about this guy claiming to be the Messiah, and they got 5 red heifers ready for slaughter or something like that. Have you heard anything about that? What are your thoughts?
I mean, here's what I had to struggle with. I mean, and so listen, I mean, I teach end time stuff. I have a series called Hope in the Last Days. And I was struggling when I first looked at this. I was like, are we in the end time? I mean, I have plenty of my prophecy friends who are like, we're in the end time. I mean, and there are literally a ton of people that will get all argumentative with me. And I remember a pastor goes, have you read Revelation? I think it's 13:16 or 13:18. I'm blanking it out off the top of my head here, but basically said, yeah, it's if anyone has wisdom, let him calculate the number of the beast. This number is man. His number is 666. It's called the mark. And he goes, yeah. And I said, but did you ever read Revelation 13:1? You see, you got to have the Antichrist before you get the false prophet, which gets the image of the beast, which gets the mark of the beast. Okay. But to answer how your question is, this is the common viewpoint of prophecy issues. The common viewpoint is that the church is gone from the world. It's in Second Thessalonians 2 through 12, 1 Thessalonians 4:16 to 18. And because we have to be out of the way to let this thing happen. And so some people go, well, then this group of guys, a cadre of dudes, will rise up the guy who's the Antichrist. And this is what I believe too for a long time. And I had to flesh this from my viewpoint because John moves into heaven in Revelation 4:1. He's up in heaven. He's standing there. He's seeing all kinds of crazy things. An angel sidles up to him and says, hey, let me explain things for you. The 7 seals are rolled out in front of him, and those 7 seals are sitting there, and no one can open them. John starts bawling on the ground, trying to figure out what's going on. And he goes, dude, the lamb who is slain is worthy to open the seals. Jesus opens the first seal, and out comes the Antichrist. So wait a second. The Christ introduces the Antichrist. Can anyone else other than Jesus introduce the Antichrist? And the answer is nope. So how does the tribulation start? With the Antichrist. Daniel 9:27. So can and it says in Revelation 13:1 that he comes from out of the sea, which basically is out of obscurity. So are we going to know who that guy is before the tribulation? Absolutely not. So here's what I had to realize is we're not in that tribulational time frame. I don't care who it is. I've had pictures from everyone in the world that show me, oh, this guy's riding on a white horse. I don't care. You're not going to know who he is. He doesn't get set up. And they go, yeah, but this guy said, I'm like, yeah, but my faith is in the word of God, not in what some guy said. Sorry, just doesn't happen that way.